and welcome to the next edition of Tobin Talks. My name is Michael Tobin, and today we're going to do a brief introduction to FIRPTA. Now, FIRPTA in South Florida is very important. You should know, first of all, that it stands for the Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act. It is the federal government saying to buyers and withholding agents or attorneys that a seller of real property who is a foreign person or a foreign company must pay their income taxes from the proceeds of the sale. So what it means, and if you're a real estate broker or a real estate agent in South Florida, you must know this, is that a seller of real property will have 10 to 15% of the sales price, the gross sales price, withheld from the closing proceeds by the buyer's attorney usually, to ensure that any income taxes that may be due from the sale of the property are paid out of the proceeds of the sale. So let's give an example here. An individual from Argentina sells a condominium for $400,000. The condominium's titled in their individual name. They are not U.S. citizens or U.S. residents, therefore they are non-resident for tax purposes. At the closing, if they sell for $400,000, either 10%, $40,000, or 15%, $60,000, will be withheld from the sales proceeds, and an application must be made to the IRS to show that the gain on the sale of that condo was less than the amount withheld. If it is, the government will say, fine, you owe, let's say, $12,000 in taxes. The balance of either the 40 or the 60 will be released with the $12,000 paid to the government. Now, what determines if it's 10 or 15% withholding? Could be a big difference. Well, there's a few exemptions. First of all, there can be a total exemption from the withholding altogether if the sale price is $300,000 or less, and if the buyer will sign what we call a residency affidavit, that they will reside in the property at least half the time the property's in use. So if it's under $300,000, we can get around the withholding altogether with that affidavit. If it's from $300,000 to $1 million, we can get to a 10% withholding if the buyer signs that same residency affidavit. If it's over $1 million, it's always going to be 15% withholding. All right, so we first determine if someone is eligible or required by FIRPTA to withhold money. Then we decide, based on the buyer's ability to sign the affidavit, if the withholding is going to be 0, 10, or 15, and from there we know what's withheld. Now, in terms of the withholding, if you're a seller, you should be able to document your actual tax by taking your original cost basis, adding in any improvements you've done, special assessments if it's a condominium, all to your cost basis, and then you ultimately subtract your adjusted cost basis from the sales price to produce your gain. You should definitely hire an attorney or an accountant to help you with the tax part of this, and you should always hire an attorney in a real estate transaction. We'll be attaching some informational material to the link so you can have more information on FIRPTA, and as always, call our office if you want to hear or discuss more. Thank you, and until the next one, this is Michael Tobin for Tobin Talks.